Hmm. I love starting with that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what's so great about that is like when like it's really good. Your playing is so consistent and so pristine through the whole thing. Like you never skip a beat. You just stay on it. And then Christopher does all of this extra production, and then he comes in with this bass solo that just goes like all over the damn place in true
Oh yeah.
improvisational jazz style, right? And he's up and he's down and he's all around it, and you're just like all nice and consistent. But then he brings it back down, like he comes out of it, and he makes it all nice and cool and subtle, and we end all nice and like calm again. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I love it. Yeah. I do. Hey, thanks for coming in. Everybody coming in. Hey, George. Hey, Karen. It's good to see you. And all the silent viewers, it's good to see you too. Come join the
Mm-hmm.
chat if you want. I promise we don't bite, do we, Ray? Well, I'm not
Oh,
going to bite today. How about you?
I'll try not to.
Nibbler, you? Oh, right. Hmm. Okay.
No, I don't bite.
No, like seriously. No. We may have biting commentary, but we don't do any physical biting like this here. Like,
Yes.
yeah, our words could make you bleed. Leave marks on you, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Because this is a tough. I shouldn't start like that, should I? Because this is a really tough one, actually.
Yeah.
As far as not crossing the line to offending anybody, like
Oh,
because
someone is going to get offended with this one. This one
uh,
is going to offend someone.
definitely. For those of you just tuning in rather, this is chapter 10 of the 48 Laws of Robert Greene.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it weekly. And, in the beginning, I was really resistant and like really having a tough time wrapping my head around how to make it usable for every day. But the last couple chapters before this one, I was being quite amiable, wasn't I, Rick? Like I was going
Absolutely.
along, and it was
You
doing
were
okay.
almost enjoying them.
I right. And then I looked at the title of this one and started reading it, and here we are again, and here we are with me like going, "Oh, come on, really?" Like,
Yeah.
although I can relate to this chapter almost too well, like, you know, it's just I found it a little difficult to explain it in a way because people can twist it like and take advantage of the saying of it so easily
Oh,
and
absolutely.
misuse it so easily, and it's done all the time, misusing it, using it as an excuse for not doing the right thing, so to speak. um
Mm.
I guess we should pull it up and just tell them what it's about, because like this one,
Yup.
let me just move it to the first one so they know the chapter. It's the breakdown of this one. It's called Infection. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. It's like basically it says you can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases, and you may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it onto you. Associate with the happy and fortunate instead. Now that sounds really harsh and cold right out of the box, doesn't it? Like it's like,
A
wow.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because like sometimes people can't help what happens to them. Your friend or your partner gets sick, tragedy happens, there's an accident, someone loses their job through no fault of their own, the company closes, they downsize, whatever. That's not what we're talking about, is it? Like
No.
that's not, the occasional unlucky is fine, the occasional being depressed about something and being down about something that's happened in your life. That's not what we're referring to here. We're
Mm.
referring to the chronic, the inevitable, the always the same,
The people that won't help themselves.
exactly. Or that black cloud person who expects you to fix everything and doesn't do a damn thing. Like you eventually get to the point where you realize you're wasting your time even trying to do anything with them because they're not going to change. They really don't want to change the situation. They don't want to put in any effort into helping themselves or even doing any of the work of looking at how they could be contributing to the problem. You know what I mean? Like you get that feeling like they would just rather sit there and complain about you every single day, every single hour of every single day, instead of actually doing about anything. And I call that the albatross. Like we've all had them. We if you take time to think about it, we've all had somebody like that in our life. We all have.
And I'm sure if you think about it, we've all been that person at points in time.
We could. Like I know stuff happens in my life all the time. It's like a roller coaster. And it could be hard. You tell friends or you don't tell friends, like whatever. But I guess it's how you do it. And I think the book is trying to emphasize on focusing the difference between when you're actually helping someone or when something's actually holding you back. You know, those choices. Because like if you're a team builder, you know,
Oh dear.
you and you have that friend. What? Oh dear, what?
Doesn't matter. Keep going.
What happened? The
That
team builder.
StreamYards was washing you out for me, but you're
We,
back.
are you pushing the button again? Damn it, Justin.
I
Like,
was tickling it, okay?
okay, stop. Like, stop it. You troublemaker. Anyway, they the team builder at the company. You know, you're responsible, and you've got a friend who's just lost a job like 6 times. You know, and it's like it's always the same thing. Not contributing, not getting you know, not being a team player X, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh well, you know, you're hiring, you can get me a job, right? And you're like, god damn, like, do you want to actually put your reputation on the line? Like, you want to help a friend out,
Mm-hmm.
but do you really want to bring him into your department and have that albatross around your neck and end up to be the
And
next person?
somehow get and somehow have and somehow they get fired for something that they didn't do for the seventh time.
Right, and it reflects on you now. Like, my point is not that you don't want to help them out, but understanding how these people affect you and everything that goes on around you and the people around you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're actually bringing people into the circle that actually affect everything. Um, Another example would be like just personally, when we have that one friend who's always fighting with someone in your friend circle, and every week it's somebody different. You know, the chaos bringer. You know, that person, and you are constantly, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but I myself have, like, you're constantly put in the position of sorting it out with them and the other person, like, and trying to figure out what's going on, and you're spending a lot of time invested in other people's relationships with this person, trying to like smooth things over and kind of like being the mediator, saying, things like, I don't really think they meant it that way, or you got to give them a little grace because this is going on. Like, you're constantly in defensive mode and in trying to wear the hat of mediator and like defense attorney
Mm.
for
And
for this friend. Yeah,
and it's not just like doing it once or twice. It's the continuation,
right.
the persistent needing to do that for someone.
Exactly. It's not the, like, things happen. We all know. And we want to be there for our friends. And we want to be there even for strangers and older people. Like, it's part of our human nature to give back. It kind of makes it feel all worth it, in
Mm-hmm.
some ways. And so I don't know what was in Robert Greene's head exactly, but I don't think he meant to carry it that far, because there are mentions in the book that say things like, this is not for the friend who's in need, who through no fault of their own. you know
Mm.
Somebody gets sick. I mean, you're not going to blame a person for getting sick, are you? Or blame a person because a factory shut down, or business downsized. You're not going to blame them on that. You're not going to even blame them, a person who has mental health issues after going through some kind of tragedy, or going through just life in general. Mental health issues can happen at any time. um
Exactly.
some of them are organically or inherited. I mean, like, that's not what we're talking about. Helping someone in true need. We're talking about that chronic person, the selfish person, who never looks at any way that they're contributing and just expects everybody to fix it for them, or
Mm-hmm.
expects too much of you, and while not giving anything back, because these people are often the same person who actually just never bothers to reciprocate anything that you do for them ever. And that could be like, not that I think it has to be tit for tat, because anybody who knows me knows, like, I give grace. I do it of my own volition and my own choice all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect the same back. Like, I know it's my choice to do that, and I'm not doing it to gain anything. I'm doing it because I think it's the right thing to do, period. And I just do it. It's just the way I am. But, you know it does get obvious when you don't get anything back in return ever. And
Mm.
you get to a point, or you shouldn't. I think the book is advising us never get to the point where your cup is empty because you gave so much and nothing came back. And nothing came back. Like, that's detrimental to you. How are you supposed to take care of your stuff? How are you supposed to go forward with your goals? Like, just focusing on recognizing the things that are getting in the way, and whether or not there's a good valid reason for it, in whether it's productive or not. You know, it's not telling us to cut off all the people in need in your life. Like, oh, I want to be a rock star, so I can't take care of my sick mother. That's not true. That's not what he's saying.
Mm.
He's not saying dump the girlfriend who just had a car accident and acting all needy. No, that's not what he's saying. Like, he's not. He's saying recognize the things that are holding you back, the chronic people in your life where you're spending too much time on their stuff and not yours, and whether or not that is a temporary situation, a chronic situation, a no give back situation. Like, try to read the room and recognize it for what it actually is. I think that's what he's saying. What do you think, Justin?
I agree.
That's it. Okay, I talked for 15. Okay, we're gonna go on and read then. 'Cause-
I don't know what else I could add.
I'm sorry for stealing all the words. Okay,
It's okay.
all right. So then let's go on, and let's go to the examples, because, like, I think you could tell I'm nervous about it because I wanted to get all that out there up front before
Mm.
we start talking about these examples, and just trying to prevent some of the messages I'm gonna get about being, cold hearted and obnoxious, and, one of them, whatever. Because I don't really think that's what he's saying, like, to that degree.
No. And you do have to remember that, like, this book is mainly this book is mainly catered towards the business, like a business
A goal
uh a,
oriented, or yeah,
yeah, business orientated person,
someone
or
who's trying
business
to achieve
orientated.
a
Yeah.
big, a big endeavor, either, large group is for, like, large groups of organization, even any kind of organized group. This would be geared towards in success in business. You're right. It's not like it's not a book written with your personal relationships in mind, but
No.
I often, would you agree, we often find the need to clarify that, because it can sound so obnoxiously rigid and harsh and just cold, like really cold, which wouldn't work in your personal relationships. I could guarantee you'll end up like Steve Jobs with a big company and success and not a single person in your life. Because, if you used all these laws to the degree that they sound like, if you try to apply them to your personal life. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, isn't that the end story about Steve Jobs? He has the reputation of just being a cold hearted, just nasty person and just
Mm-hmm.
selfish in his children, his family, everybody. It's just like he was alone. Like he didn't have anybody like on his side uh, at the end, because that's how he treated everybody, as if they were expendable, as if they didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was like his goal and his success. And it's a bitter pill after you get your success to have to swallow. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Well, so it's fine balance. It is. Why don't you take it from here and read for us the transgression of the law, the examples that are going to blow our socks off here?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the transgression of the law. Born in Limerick, Ireland in 1818, Marie Gilbert came to Paris in the 1840s to make her fortune as a dancer and performer. Taking the name Lola Montez, her mother was a distant Spanish descent. She claimed to be a flamenco dancer from Spain. By 1845, her career was languishing, and to survive, she became a courtesan, quickly one of the more successful in Paris. Only one man could salvage Lola's dancing career: Alexandre du Dru, I can never pronounce this.
Okay.
Dujaria.
Yeah. Do Haria or Jari? Yeah.
Dujaria.
Yeah.
Dujaria.
You're doing it.
Owner of the newspaper with the largest circulation in France, and also the newspaper's drama critic. She decided to woo and conquer him. Investigating his habits, she discovered that he went riding every morning. An excellent horsewoman herself, she rode out one morning and accidentally ran into him. Soon they were riding together every day. A few weeks later, Lola moved into his apartment. For a while, the two were happy together. With Dujaria's help, Lola began to revive her dancing career. Despite the risks to her social standing, Dujaria told friends he would marry her in the spring. Lola had never told him that she had eloped at age 19 with an Englishman and was still legally married.
Mm.
Although Dujaria was deeply in love, his life started to slide downhill. His fortunes in business changed, and influential friends began to avoid him. One night, Dujaria was invited to a party, attended by some of the wealthiest young men in Paris. Lola wanted to go too, but he would not allow it. They had their first quarrel, and Dujaria attended the party by himself. There, hopelessly drunk, he insulted an influential drama critic, Jean-Baptiste Rosemond de Beauvoisin, Bavoulian.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Perhaps, perhaps because of something the critic had said about Lola. The following morning, Beauvoisin challenged him to a duel. Beauvoisin, uh, Beauvoisin was one of the best pistol shots in France. Dujaria tried to apologize, but the duel took place, and he was shot and killed. Thus ended the life of one of the most promising young men of Paris society. Devastated, Lola left Paris. In 1846, Lola Montez found herself in Munch, where she
No, Munich.
decided to woo
It's Munich.
Munich. I don't know why I keep calling it Munch.
I don't know.
Munich. Found herself in Munich, where she decided to woo and conquer King Ludwig of Bavaria. The best way to Ludwig, she discovered, was through his aide de camp, Count Otto von Reichberg, a man with a fondness for pretty girls. One day, when the Count was breakfasting at an outdoor cafe, Lola rode by on her horse and was accidentally thrown from the saddle and landed at Reichberg's feet. The Count rushed to help her and was enchanted. He promised to introduce her to Ludwig. Reichberg arranged an audience with the king for Lola, but when she arrived in the Atteroom,
Yeah.
she could hear the king saying he was too busy to meet a favor-seeking stranger. Lola pushed aside the sentries and entered his room anyway. In the process, the front of her dress somehow got torn, perhaps by her, perhaps by one of the sentries. And to the astonishment of all, most especially the king, her bare breasts were brazenly exposed. Whew, okay. Lola was granted her audience with Ludwig. 55 hours later, she made her debut on the Bavarian stage. The reviews were terrible, but that did not stop Ludwig from arranging more performances.
Crikey. Oh my gosh.
Jeez. Thank you for the follow. It doesn't matter. That person can just be yeeted into nothingness.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm not modding you right now.
That's okay. Don't worry. Okay.
Oh, she said that's me. Wait.
Oh no, the Google rabbit.
Oh, the Google rabbit. Like, yes.
Yeah,
Don't worry
no.
about it, Shill. Yes.
Thank you for the kicks, though, Shill. I appreciate that.
Yeah. He's talking about the other person there, which you probably can't see anymore because he probably got rid of it.
Yes, I did. Ludwig was, in his own words, bewitched by Lola. He started to appear in public with her on his arm, and then he bought and furnished an apartment for her in one of Munich's most fashionable boulevards. Although he had been known as a Meister, and was not given to flights of fancy, he started to shower Lola with gifts and to write poetry for her. Now his favored mistress, she catapulted to fame and fortune overnight.
Oh, that was miser. I'm sorry. Like, I was
Miser.
trying to figure. Yeah. Like.
Oh, miser, I see.
Yeah, that means stingy. Like, not usually
Oh,
generous.
although he'd been known as a miser and was not given to flights of fancy, he started to shower Lola with gifts and to write poetry for her. Now his favorite mistress, she catapulted to fame and fortune overnight. Lola began to lose her sense of proportion. One day, when she was out riding, an elderly man rode ahead of her, a bit too slowly for her liking. Unable to pass him, she began to slash him with her riding crop. On another occasion, she took her dog, unleashed, out for a stroll. The dog attacked a passerby, but instead of helping the man to get the dog away, she whipped him with the leash. God damn.
I know. Hey.
Incidents like this. Why would you just? Your dog is attacking someone, and your first thought is, well, this person clearly deserved it. I'm just going to beat the crap out of you now.
Okay, listen, I'm going to say what you say to me almost every day, Claire. You know, I'm going to say, Rekkr. Why? Like, don't try to make common sense out of this stuff.
That's a fair point. I
carry
should
on.
stop. I should
Yeah,
stop
just
asking reasonable questions.
yes, don't be reasonable. Like it's a totally unreasonable situation. Damn, this Lola is something.
Hmm. Incidents like this in, uh, infuriated the stolid citizens of Bavaria, but Ludwig stood by Lola and even had her naturalized as a Bavarian citizen. The king, the king's entourage tried to wake him to the dangers of the affair, but those who criticized Lola were summarily fired.
Mm.
While Bavarians who had loved their king now outwardly despised, uh,
This
uh, disrespected him. Sorry. Lola was made a countess and had a new palace built for herself, and began to dabble in politics. Why would you let her in politics? Why? No.
Rick. Why ask why? Like
Advising Ludwig on policy. Why?
you know why? You know why? Like stop.
She was the most powerful force in the cow.
I promise it only gets worse from here. Just hold on. Like,
Her influence in the king's cabinet continued to grow, and she treated the other ministers with disdain. As a result, riots broke out throughout the realm. I wonder why. A once peaceful land was virtually in the grip of civil war, and students everywhere were chanting Rus mit Lola. I
I
don't.
translated that. That's out with Lola. Like, it's like get her out of here. Out with Lola. Yeah.
I'd be chanting the same thing. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, you already have been. Like you're just like you're like screaming no during this whole story.
I
Like
wonder
yeah.
why.
No, I don't blame you at all. Like yeah, I got a lot to say. I'm just gonna wait until you're done. Just like,
By February 18, how did she survive to
how
1848?
did how did anybody like
By
like
February 1848, Ludwig was finally unable to withstand the pressure. With great sadness, he ordered Lola to leave Bavaria immediately. You smart man. Idiot. Smart idiot. She left, but not until she was paid off. Paid? You would pay? Okay. For the next 5 weeks, the Bavarians' wrath was turned against the formerly beloved king. In March of that year, he was forced to abdicate.
so you had to give up the throne
Served us
anyway.
right. Mm.
So now he doesn't
Lola
have the
Montez,
great
huh?
pair and he doesn't have a chair. No great
Yeah,
pair,
exactly.
no great chair. Sad story indeed.
Lola Montez moved to England. More than anything, she needed respectability. Good luck. And despite being married, still, um,
She's still
she still
what?
had not arranged a divorce from the Englishman she had wed years before. She set her sights on George Taffold Herald, a
No,
promising young army officer who was the son of an influential barrister.
mm-hmm.
Although he was 10 years younger than Lola and could have chosen a wife among the prettiest and wealthiest young girls of English society, Harold fell under her spell. They were married in 1849. Soon, soon arrested on charges of bigamy, she skipped bail, and she and Held made their way to Spain. They quarreled horribly, and on one occasion Lola slashed him with a knife. Jesus. That's not a red flag. That's not a red flag at all.
No, none of this is actually. Yeah, it's all just fine.
Finally, she drove him away. Good. Returning to England, he found he had lost his position in the army.
You think?
Ostracized from English society, he moved to Portugal, where he lived in poverty. After a few months, his short life ended in a boating accident. A few years later, the man who published Lola Montez's autobiography went bankrupt. How? How do you catch a stray like that?
uh,
Okay, so you decide that, oh, I'm going to write the autobiography of this absolute travesty of a woman, and
maybe.
somehow, just by osmosis, the the autobiographer's life just goes,
Right.
jeez.
Well, you know what? Maybe she charmed him too. Because I can't imagine he wanted to talk about her story just because, like, of the story.
Maybe she did,
Hmm. And
unfortunately.
that was probably more to do with the bankruptcy than the book itself.
Oh, you're going to love this part.
Okay.
In 1853, Lola moved to California.
Oh, great! Now she's in America. Well,
So that's what happened to America. I was
no, no.
what?
Well, she's in the right place if she's over in California, like with Hollywood and all the starlets, like that do all this, like, yeah, it's, kind of thing. I don't want to, like, go against the whole genre of people, but still, it seems to happen a lot over there. So
Yeah.
I would, yeah, but oh, come on, I'm sure New Zealand has many a Lola also.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
None of them have been written about, though.
Oh, you keep your Lolas in the closet, do you? Like,
No, we bury them.
oh, okay. Let's continue with the story before you say
Anyway,
something.
in
Before you say something to get
1853,
yourself charged. Like, cool.
in
All right.
1853, Lola moved to California, where she met and married again a man named Paul Hull. Their relationship was stormy as all others, and she left Hull for another man. Unfortunately for him, he took to drink and fell into a deep depression that lasted until he died 4 years later, still a relatively young man. At the age of 41, Lola gave away her clothes, finery, and turned to God. Now you're going after. Jeez, come on. I mean, they're bad enough as it is. You don't need to join them.
Hmm.
Anyway, she toured America lecturing on religious topics, dressed in white and wearing a halo like white headgear. She died 2 years later in 1861. Thank God.
Oh,
I
God.
mean,
You did
I
not.
mean, what?
What? Stop. Okay. Okay. Listen, she's definitely okay. This is the thing we're talking about. Like one bad situation after another, over and over and over again. Um, this is the kind of person we're talking about. Lola is an example of the kind of person that wants you to fix everything for them, and they're not doing a damn thing. She made her problems the the responsibility of whoever was in her life. Okay, not to mention just being like that bad seed woman that we all know stories about. Like, not all women are like this, but this is the kind of woman that actually helps that kind of notion along, where she's just
Mm-hmm.
using and abusing one person after another over and over. She's obviously not very honest. She doesn't tell them she's married. Like, she strang that first one along quite well and ruined his reputation. And these are people of power. And the point is how their power disappeared when they were perceived to be around someone who wasn't being honest with them, was a disrespectful type character, and, like, say the king, King Ludwig himself, his people lost respect for him because he was just cocked. Like, she was taking advantage.
He was
And
whipped. Yep.
and it's also a cautionary tale about bringing your personal life into the focus when you're in a position of power. It becomes, in almost every situation, a weak spot for others to target, for people to focus on. Um, you have to understand that your partner's reputation and everything they do now becomes your responsibility as far as your reputation. If you're high enough up, like a person of power, in recognition out in the public, it's rough. It's definitely rough. Um, I have no fault with any of these men falling in love. The heart
Absolutely
wants
not.
what the heart wants, okay? And after all, apparently she had a great pair. I mean, like the king was like, okay, I'm putting you on stage, whatever you want. Like, so they must have been awesome. But, you can admire them and you could fall in love with them. And what does that, but to such an extent that you sacrifice all your own goals, reputation, and everything else. Like, the lesson there is not that you shouldn't fall in love, not that you shouldn't put your partner first, but that you should not put all of your stuff aside for it, because you're only contributing to your own demise. I mean, when you think about it, how much of this is Lola's fault and how much of this is the fault of the people she's involved with not stopping themselves from falling down the well?
That is true. It does seem like it is just as much the her chosen victims' fault
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah, and you call them victims. Listen, are you a victim if you're willingly going along? Now, come on, Rick. Like, not every man is a victim of a Jezebel. Some of them, I would actually venture to say, I'll put it out there, most of them are not victims, they are willing participants.
Yes, yes, that's probably a
Actually,
better,
actually
a more
over the
accurate.
moon with the fact that the Jezebel chose them. Okay, like they're just like, listen, it's not like, show me in the story where she dragged any of them into this unwillingly and against their will. Where's that part?
That is a fair point.
Yeah, okay.
They did choose themselves.
They did, right. Now, um, one might say, okay, can I play devil's advocate here? Like, you can shoot me later if you need
Okay.
to. Okay. One might say that a Jezebel can't help but be a Jezebel, like it's in her nature. And that those that fall prey to the Jezebel, the manipulative, conniving, evil woman who's about to ruin your life, well, if you willingly go along with it, like, she's just doing what Jezebels do. Like, is it not our responsibility to understand whether we want that in our life or not? So, you know, and I don't mean to just pick on men. I could turn it around to the woman who keeps taking back the cheater because, like, she's going to change him. Like,
Oh yeah, like
or
there are guys that do this as well.
yes, okay, the manipulator, the player, like the one that, like, you know, yeah. If you don't, I think the message of the chapter in its entirety is just to read the room, understand the situation that you're in, look at everything that's going on around you, and make the conscious choice and take responsibility for it. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
decide when it is appropriate to cut ties and not. Now, every man in this story, not to pick on men, but there are men in this story. Like, they are the ones we're focused on here because they're the us, right? You have to admit, in this story, like in this example, like Lola, like, she's the problem, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And all the men are the us of this conversation. We have to look at the situation from their perspective. How could they have done better, right? How do you prevent this from happening to you? Like, I don't think,
Arranged marriages.
no, no, I don't mean anything that drastic. I mean, in all honesty, could you actually say that any of these men were not going to be in a relationship with her based on how they felt?
Oh, there was no. They had no chance.
They
They
had no
they were
chance, right?
they
Like,
they
so,
were they were doomed
yeah,
the moment they
yeah.
saw her.
Because the heart wants what the heart wants, right? And it doesn't matter that she's manipulative and conniving. It's what they did about it that's the problem. The way they put everything for her first instead
Mm-hmm.
of instead of their own position in life. That's the moral of the story. You can have the relationship with the Jezebel. Go for it. But recognize it for what it is and try. Here we come. My favorite B word. You ready? You ready, YouTube? Try to install those boundaries to protect your goals, influence in life. Merge it with theirs, but there has to be some kind of boundaries to where you're both getting what you want. Okay? Because in this story, the only one who's getting everything they want is Lola. Lola gets what Lola wants every single time. And she's not
Yep.
even asking for it. These people are throwing it at her. Like, she's like, you know what I mean? Like, savior complex. I'm going to. Poor Lola. She wants to be a dancer. All I have to do is put her on stage. Well, you put her on stage and she danced, and the audience hated it. And what did he do? He just kept putting her on stage. He made a mockery of his own opinion of good taste and judgment. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to do a favor for somebody, or to help somebody out. Well, then when it gets like you're getting all this pushback about it's just not going to work and you just keep doing it, well, you're the one doing it. You're ruining your reputation. You're ruining how people perceive you because of it. And I think that's the message of the chapter, more so than like don't help people out. Is don't help people out to the detriment of yourself. Like, recognize when it's causing more harm than good. You know, like, would it have been better if the king got her a publicity agent, like an agent, or introduced her to some theater people, like gave her the ability to help herself
Yep.
rather than handing it to her? Like, here, take your no talented butt, put it on the middle of the stage, and like, because he got judged. He got judged harsher than she did. I mean, they didn't like her, but who actually bore the brunt of that? It would be Ludwig, right? It would be the
Yeah.
king,
Mm-hmm.
in that situation, because they lost his own people lost all respect for him. They thought she was leading him around by his nose. In this is a it was the king, the man of most respect, the power over all the kingdom. Is being led around by a no talent actress, the dancer. Like, it's hard to come back from. And according to the story, he didn't. He lost the girl in the chair. He lost, like I said, he lost the great pair and the great chair.
Exactly.
Because he didn't read the room. Like, he didn't even get to spend his life with her. You know, but I don't know.
Shall we see what the interpretation says?
Yes. Do you want to read that? Since I just spent the last 10 minutes talking, we'll let you then, and
I
then
can
I'll
do
read the
that.
other after. I'll take over at Keys to Power. Go for it,
The
man.
interpretation. Lola Montez attracted men with her wiles, but her power over them went beyond the sexual. It was through the force of her character that she kept her lovers enthralled. Men were sucked into the maelstrom she churned up around her. They felt confused, upset, but the strength of the emotion she stirred also made them feel more alive. As is often the case with infection, the problem would only arise over time. Lola's inherent instability would begin to get under her lover's skin. They would find themselves drawn into her problems, but their emotional attachment to her would make them want to help her. This was the this was the crucial point of the disease, for Lola Montez could not be helped. Her problems were too deep. Once the lover identified with them, he was lost. He would find himself embroiled in quarrels. The infection would spread to his family and friends, or in cases of Ludwig's, to an entire nation. The only solution would be to cut her off or suffer an eventual collapse.
Hmm.
The infecting character type is not restricted to women. It has nothing to do with gender. It stems from an inward instability that radiates outwards, drawing disaster upon itself. There is almost a desire to destroy and unsettle. You could spend a lifetime studying the pathology of infecting characters, but don't waste your time. Just learn the lesson. When you suspect you are in the presence of an infector, don't argue, don't try to help, don't don't pass the person on to your friends, or you will become enmeshed. Flee the infector's presence or suffer the consequences.
Damn.
Yes.
No, they you can't fault them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fault them. And that brings us to the Julius Caesar from Shakespeare quote. You know, the Shakespeare is really tough to read, but I'm going to do it anyway. Young Cassius has a lean and hungry look. He thinks too much. I do not know the man I should avoid so soon as that spare Cassius. Such men as he be never at heart's ease, whilst they behold a greater than themselves, and therefore are they very dangerous. Hmm. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just meeting the man of chaos is one to avoid. I think
Yep.
totally, totally. You know, put, straight from Green's mouth with the keys to power, he states that those misfortunates among us have been brought down by circumstance beyond their control, deserve all the help and sympathy we can give them. But there are others who are not born to misfortune or unhappiness, but who draw it upon themselves by their destructive actions and unsettling effect on others. It would be a great thing if we could raise them up and change their patterns. But more often than not, it is their patterns that end up getting inside and changing us. The reason is simple: humans are extremely susceptible to moods, emotions, and even the way of thinking of those with whom they spend their time. The incurably unhappy and unstable have a particularly strong infecting power because their characters and emotions are so intense. They often present themselves as victims, making it difficult at first to see their miseries as self inflicted. Before you realize the real nature of their problems, you've been infected by them. Understand this: in the game of power, the people you associate with are critical. The risk of associating with infectors is that you will waste valuable time and energy trying to free yourself. Through a kind of guilt by association, you will also suffer in the eyes of others. Never underestimate the dangers of infection. There are many kinds of infectors to be aware of, but one of the most insidious is the sufferer from chronic dissatisfaction. Cassius, the Roman conspirator against Julius Caesar, had the discontent that comes from deep envy. He simply could not endure the presence of anyone of greater talent. Probably because Caesar seemed the man's interminable sourness, he passed him up for the position of first prayership and gave the position to Brutus instead. Cassius brooded and brooded, and his hatred for Caesar became becoming pathological. Brutus himself, a devoted Republican, disliked Caesar's dictatorship. Had he had the patience to wait, he would have become the first man in Rome after Caesar's death and could have undone the evil that the leader had wrought. But Cassius infected him with his own rancor, bending his ear daily with tales of Caesar's evil. He finally won Brutus over to the conspiracy. It was the beginning of a great tragedy. How many misfortunes could have been avoided had Brutus learned to fear the power of infection? There's only one solution to infection: quarantine. But by the time you recognize the problem, it is often too late. Alola Montez overwhelms you with her forceful personality. Cassius intrigues you with his confiding nature and the depth of his feelings. How can you protect yourself against such insidious viruses? The answer lies in judging people on the effects they have on the world and not on the reasons they give you for their problems. Infectors can be recognized by the misfortune they draw on themselves, their turbulent past, their long line of broken relationships, their unstable careers, and the very force of their character, which sweeps you up and makes you lose your reason. Be forewarned by these signs of an infector. Learn to see the discontent in their eyes. Most important of all, do not take pity. Do not enmesh yourself in trying to help. The infector will remain unchanged, but you will become unhinged. The other side of infection is equally valid and perhaps more readily understood. There are people who attract happiness to themselves by their good cheer, their natural buoyancy and intelligence. They are a source of pleasure, and you must associate with them to share in the prosperity they draw upon themselves. This applies to more than good cheer and success. All positive qualities can infect us. Talleyrand had many strange and intimidating traits, but most agreed that he surpassed all Frenchmen in graciousness, in aristocratic charm, and wit. Indeed, he came from one of the oldest noble families in the country, and despite his belief in democracy and the French Republic, he retained his courtly manners. His contemporary Napoleon was in many ways the opposite: a peasant from Corsica, taciturn, ungracious, even violent. There was no one Napoleon admired more than Talleyrand. He envied his minister's way with people, his wit, and his ability to charm women, and as best he could, he kept Talleyrand around him, hoping to soak up the culture he lacked. There is no doubt that Napoleon changed as his rule continued. Many of the rough edges were smoothed by his constant association with the likes of Talleyrand. Use the positive side of this emotional osmosis to advantage. If, for example, you are miserly by nature, you will never go beyond a certain limit. Only generous souls attain greatness. Associate with the generous then, and they will infect you, opening up everything that is tight and restricted in you. If you are gloomy, gravitate to the cheerful. If you are prone to isolation, force yourself to befriend the gregarious. Never associate with those who share your defects. They will reinforce everything that holds you back. Only create associations with positive affinities. Make this a rule of your life, and you will benefit more from all the therapy in the world.
Wait a second. I just realized something.
Hmm?
The book's basically telling you if you're a Lola, just associate with people that are, better than you. Like, for instance, all the people she ruined.
Exactly. Because remember, the book is speaking to them too. So beware, beware. And yes, and that's where this comes in handy, Rekkr. And I'll let you do this. These are the key characteristics that he talks about, who are the infectors. How to identify these people, the warning signs of people you should avoid, or at least set some boundaries with, so that you can have a relationship that doesn't harm you. Um, yeah.
Key characteristics of infectors. Green identifies several warning signs of people to avoid: chronic complaining and discontent without thinking solutions,
That's the key there.
tumultuous histories marked by failing relationships and unstable careers, charismatic personalities that overwhelm people's ability to reason clearly,
Wait, does that
victim mentality.
translate?
Hmm?
Can I make a joke here? Does that
Yes.
translate to if they show you your breasts on the first date, like that's red flag?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know how, with the
I'm not
king.
allowed to
It's a
show my
joke.
breast on the first date anymore,
No, you really
unfortunately.
shouldn't. Not the way she did with the king. Like she just burst in the room and ta-da! It's like,
Peekaboo!
and it's not a joke about nudity. It's just about the presumption of just like, just barged in there and just didn't take no for an answer and just like, you will deal with
Mm-hmm.
me. Like, yeah, that's larger than life. Yeah. Okay, carry on. Anyway.
Um, Victim mentalities that blame external forces for self-created problems.
That's a big one.
Mm.
We all have people like that in our lives or in our circles, you know.
And we've all been in those situations ourselves.
Mm-hmm. But it's a matter of taking accountability and being able to work on it. Like,
Mm.
nobody's perfect. We all do stuff. Like, we all do.
Oh yeah.
Maybe, yeah. So you make mistakes at work, but you're accountable about it and you try to improve. Like, you get fired for something dumb, but you know you did it. You can't,
Mm-hmm.
like, you're going to feel a certain way. Is it really the boss's fault for firing you? Is it really, like, did you not have any contribution to the situation? It's like you have to recognize the person who's not recognizing their own part in the story. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like when they're telling you about all their woes and they're leaving out all the stuff that they're doing to contribute it to it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and although it's glaringly obvious to you, but they don't want to go there. Yeah, yeah, that's not good. Anyway, the last.
And then the last one, emotional drainage. You feel exhausted after spending time with them.
Oh,
Yes.
I have to say that I'm very fortunate right now. There's nobody in my life like that. There has been, there have been, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't. Yeah. Hmm.
Actually, there's a really good example of a modern day Lola.
Yeah.
Just quite recently. Yeah.
Oh, is it going to be one of my favorite people? Are you going to like? Are you going to poke the bear with a name?
Maybe. I don't know. Possibly.
Does anybody figure it out when he says that it's actually a resounding yes, as if he has a bullhorn? Like he's trying to be so subtle about it. Well, maybe, like maybe I'm thinking about it. But yeah. Huh.
Amber Heard.
Oh, that is not the name I thought you were going to say. Wow, but damn, that's a name. That's a name. Um,
She perfectly represents a modern day version of that. Absolutely destroyed everything she touched.
yep, playing the victim while she causes the problems. Absolutely, emotionally
Mm-hmm.
draining. Her life is in chaos all the time. Um, always complaining nothing's ever good enough. Like, oh yeah, we learned all this just from listening to her talk during the Johnny Depp trial. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she's had tumultuous histories marked by failed relationships and unstable careers through her own fault. Although she tries to blame everybody else. You know, when she said that her relationship with Johnny Depp was the reason that she wasn't getting any parts, and then it came out all of her antics on stage, all of her prima donna demanding, some of her violent outbursts where she was smacking people and stuff. Like, oh yeah, she takes no accountability for any of that. It's all somebody else's problem. Of course, we'll just pin it on this guy or that one.
Mm-hmm.
No accountability whatsoever. A perfect example, actually, Justin. But honestly, I have to admit, I thought you were going to say Drake. I
I
really.
mean, Drake is also an excellent example of someone. Well, actually, it, that's really not his name. His name really is Lawbury.
No, it's Aubrey. Oh, Aubrey, I get it. I get it. Okay, it's not anymore because that law has been disconnected from him totally. That case was tossed. Absolutely, and we're going to talk about that next week, people. We're going to talk about it. Like I got things to say. I'm not going to say them here. It fits right into something else I'm doing. Like, but yeah, that's why I was like getting ready because if you mentioned Drake, like it's very hard for me to hold back, as you can see. If you like, yeah. But Amber
I
Heard,
am.
like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back during that trial, I got to rant about that woman every single day. Me, myself, and Mandy, we did the post reviews once a week, and we just like during the week, during the trial, I was very unbiased and very fair, and like we would talk about the things that happened and whether it was pro and con and good, and we're doing a live trial every day. Well, you were there. That's like when we first met, like way back, like and some of you in the audience now will remember that live streaming over on the Absurd channel, Renty's Absurd channel, that every day for 8 hours or more, listening to all of the shenanigans going on and trying to be even about it and explain things. But then once a week we would do a recap show. Mandy and we would go over the evidence and we would just go off, and most of it was on Amber Heard because she was such such a character, such an infector. Like definitely that word kind of fits. Like totally.
Mm-hmm.
Like a virus that just gets hold of you and just won't go away. Like yeah. You totally got me with that one. You totally did. All right. So rather than be negative the whole time about this, okay, I had to pull something together, Justin Rekkr, to um actually focus more on how it's not always bad, you know, because the law actually also emphasizes on the positive aspect of this is that by associating with successful positive individuals and those with good fortune in optimism in energy, you can elevate your own circumstances. By being exposed to these kind of people, you will learn things and have a more positive outlook and more energy towards things and more encouragement, and actually move forward with your goals and actually help you with some of your deficits that you may have in maybe constantly thinking you can't do something, or putting a little negative turn on things. More exposure to people who aren't doing that kind of stuff can actually help change your mindset and actually do positive things for you. Because after all,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it a true? Green talks about this, and he's done the studies, and there is research. We are emotional creatures, as much as we don't want to believe it, and we are highly influenced by strong emotion in any situation. We feel it from others, and we are influenced from it greatly. Tribalism exists for a reason. you know, you all get into the same mindset about something, and that mindset can be good or bad. And it could be positive for you in getting towards your goals, or it could be a great detriment and hold you back. And the chapter is about recognizing the difference, I think. Just focusing on what the difference is and whether this is good or bad for you. Modern networking and
Exactly.
mentorship, right? It reflects that principle, right? You just have to recognize the situation. In every
Mm-hmm.
chapter, it's almost like that, right? There's a good and a bad, and
Mm-hmm.
you take it to whatever level you need to, but it's all about recognizing the situation for what it is and making an active choice. When you make an active choice, you are in complete control. And when you're in complete control, what does that mean? Power, right? When you are
Yes.
in control of the situation and what you do about it, that's when you're in your power, right? And
Exactly.
I mean, the networking, modern networking and mentorship practices reflect this kind of principle, being around people who know. Successful professionals actively seeking relationships with others who demonstrate achievement, emotional stability, and forward momentum. Do you want to learn from the guy who is successful, or the one that's sitting there complaining about how he didn't make it because of this situation or that situation, or, life in general? Like, we
Mm.
gear we gear ourselves and we look towards those that have actually achieved, right? And they are more often than not very positive, optimistic, energized types. Would you agree? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In in doing the research on it, it became apparent to me that this law is very, very important now in our hyper connected age, so to speak. The way we are all connected out here on the internet quicker. The
Mm-hmm.
24/7 emergency, like the 24/7 information that we have um at us all the time, people being able to get a hold of us any day, any time of the day or night, right? Being connected with larger
Mm-hmm.
groups of people, different groups of people, right? um so it becomes even more important to apply that law, you know because it's amplified. It's even worse, I think, out on the internet, on the socials, because the negative influences spread, like it says, so rapidly through social media, through remote work environments, global communication negatives. When something bad happens, we hear about it a lot faster than we do something good.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
Even a rumor about you, even like any kind of associate, anything that happens is out there much quicker than it used to be. And it has more of an effect because of the quickness of it. And you don't even have a chance to react, which is why this law, paying attention to this law is even more important out there, to recognize those situations before you get involved in them, because they're so hard to control afterwards. They're so hard to manage and get on top of after something starts to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that was it for my presentation. Now it's just us. But
Does
I have
anyone
to,
have any questions?
yeah, like, are you all still friends with us, or like, are you cutting us off because we're just like, just such bad influences, apparently, at this time? No, I don't think it's a
Don't
matter
shoot
of
the
cutting.
messengers.
Yes, I don't think it's a matter of cutting people out of your life as much as it is setting boundaries. I mean, honestly, that's how I look at it. I tend to temper these lessons a little bit, don't I? Like,
Mm.
I I don't want to go full throttle the way Robert Greene expresses it. Like, I don't think it's necessary. Like,
No,
I'm not gonna, not listen to my friend that complains. I
absolutely. And
Yeah,
it is good to be there for your friends when they're not, when they're not feeling good. It's just, and this chapter isn't about like, oh no, my friend's having some troubles, cut them off. No, it's not about that.
exactly. Yeah, I think everybody knows that about me. I'm not a cut off kind of person, like with that kind of stuff. I'm usually like, I want to think that if somebody comes to me with a problem, or even just a vent, like I'll often say, do you want to just vent, or do you want me to, you know, interject it all? Because I could do it either way, and I will. Um, and there's those friends that just want to complain at me, and they don't want any advice on how to fix it. They don't want any commentary whatsoever. They just want a safe space to, unleash, like get rid of it, like just dump it
Mm.
and forget about it. And that's fine, as long as you know that ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are those friends that are actually looking for, like, what do I do? And, so you try to, give a little bit of advice. Sometimes you can help, sometimes you can't, but just that interaction, I find that they end up working it out themselves just by being able to speak out loud and talk to somebody about the possibilities, like
Mm.
giving them a safe space to not be judged by the situation and just work it out. Now, to me, that's not wasted time. I don't find that that holds me back in any way. Like, it doesn't, you know. Um, it's not keeping me from doing anything I want to do. It's not holding me back from my power. I'm not losing any power as far as I can see for my own self goals and my own self worth. Do you? Like,
No.
yeah, see. So we have to be careful not to apply this law too harshly, because I don't
Mm.
really think those are the kind of situations that Robert Greene is talking about.
No, I don't think so either.
Mippet, you're speaking my language here. And hello, love. Boundaries are needed in any relationship. This is true. And whether you realize it or not, in business, it's even more important. It's very, very important, because the crossing of boundaries in business is like a no-win situation every single time. You know how they tell you don't mix personal with business, like, right? And they don't, like, you got to be, because you have to look at things a little harsher in the business world. There's black and white, where in a relationship, a personal relationship, it should all be gray, Honestly, it's all gray,
Mm-hmm.
or it's never going to work, right? Um, because of the compromise, you got to be willing to compromise all the time. But in business, like, you shouldn't compromise. You should not compromise your goals. You should not compromise, what you're trying to achieve. Yeah. I see you. I see you, Shill. She says, "Now, before when I said, are we still going to be friends? Have you all left us?" She's like, "That I'm leaving. Get out of here." Like, she's gone. And then she tells me she's kidding later. you know? Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. Glad to have you all around. But this was a hard one for me, Justin. How about you?
Mm, it's one of those things that we all sort of know, but we all struggle to navigate in
Yeah.
a way.
hmm No, I think so. Like, we're all familiar with it, but what to do about it? You don't
Mm,
want to. I kind of, that resonates with me, actually, what you just said, because that's what I fear. Like, I don't want to be the person that doesn't help, but there comes a point in time where helping actually becomes the detriment.
yeah.
Like, you're actually hurting the person by not making them deal with it. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The person who always wants you to handle everything for them.
And that's
Yeah.
something else that I think doesn't get that I think should be talked about more is I call it um being toxically helpful,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
where by the nature of you helping someone, it actually is more of a detriment to their own well-being than it is actually a positive force.
Hmm.
And I've seen a few cases where people have tried to be helpful to someone and it's actually completely backfired because then the person struggles to even like they end up helping them too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's the difference between, for instance, helping someone. I'm going to use a a university type situation because I'm in university right now. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the difference between, say, helping someone to understand a question and how to get to the answer, and simply giving them the answers.
Yeah, I could see that. Look, we don't like to see. I mean, I think I might be guilty of that kind of stuff. Like, if it's easy to help somebody out, I do.
Mm,
But, like, when do you know, like, it's toxic or not? Like, when do you know it's at that point? Like,
that's the hardest part. It's the hardest part is actually knowing when you're being helpful and when you're being toxically helpful, because it can be a very fine line. It's not as simple as, well, the answer is two, but to understand the question is 1 plus 1 equals 2,
oh, 3 minus 1.
or 3 minus 1. Yeah.
I get it. That's kind of hard, because then there's the other situation. When do you recognize that you're helping somebody, like, they're just, like, actually depending on it now, and they're actually manipulating and taking advantage of you, like, because they know you're so willing to help all the time, so they just, like, they don't even try anymore. They just expect you
Mm,
to do it. Like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, you might being toxic, not like keeping them down, and they're also just being manipulated, keep putting you in the situation, uh looking to you to solve it. um hmm.
and
Yeah,
that's
that's
another.
an uncomfortable one, actually.
Mm,
You're like, I could see myself being guilty of the toxicity part. Like, just, how do you know when you're doing too much?
I think we've all. I think we've all been in that situation in many cases.
Mm.
Um, and it's yeah, it is. It's a very complicated sort of way, complicated part of being helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I really admire people that somehow manage to navigate that effortlessly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've been able to navigate that. Like, you're gonna have to give me lessons then.
I've never been able to. I don't. I've
Oh, you
never been
said
able
you've
to
never
navigate.
been able
I
to. Oh, okay.
no. I admire people who are able to effortlessly navigate that.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that has, but you're right, maybe you have to understand when it's to your own detriment. That is like
Hmm.
the key to this whole chapter, is just to be aware of when it's holding you back. When does when does contributing to help other people in any capacity become the albatross around your neck from you achieving your own goals? And it's not that you shouldn't help other people, but you have to actively make the choice and be aware of the things that are holding you back and take full responsibility for it. That's, to me, what speaks loudest in the chapter, is that it's okay to do these things, and you should, but to understand when and make the active choices of when and how, and not be a
Hmm.
victim of the assumption of others that you should. Okay, because, well, you should never assume. We all know that saying, right? Is when,
Hmm.
yeah. So the assumptions of others that you're just going to is the detriment right there. It kind of takes the choice away from you, and when you take choice away, what do? Diminish power immediately. You know,
Exactly.
when there's no active choice, there's no power. In this whole series is about your own personal power, keeping it focused on the things that you want to achieve in your life, whatever it is, a business goal, an endeavor, getting married, finding true love, whatever, just being in a relationship, whatever it is, you can apply these rules to some degree. But a lot of them is
Hmm.
about making good choices for yourself, and keeping in mind your goals, and not, you know, don't be selling out your dream, you know, for others, because there's
Hmm.
no benefit to you. And I can assure you, as much as you give to others, uh, uh, you're never going to get back what you give 100%. You will have
No.
situations where people give to you and it's the best feeling in the world, you know. But if if you're one of those, like, keeping score, you're always going to be on the negative. Like, and that's just a bad way to be, because it's just impossible. It's just not how the world works these days. People are much more focused on themselves, and necessarily so. It's a survival instinct. Our world is very fast paced right now, and we've got stuff coming at us 24/7 all the time. And just to keep on top of it, there's such a focus on what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve all the time. Um, that
Yeah.
you just don't, sorry about that if it rang through. Um,
That's okay.
uh, you just have to you just have to find a way to silence that noise. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And stay focused on what you want to do without becoming that cold hard ass like Steve Jobs, who was very successful. He's a success story for business. I'll give him that. But is he a success story 100% all the way around? Like, a true success story is somebody who accomplishes their goals in life without sacrificing their life, a life, like,
Exactly.
more than just that one thing. Because it's not a good life a balance of things, you know? Because somebody like Jobs got to the very top where he didn't have to try so hard anymore, and there was no one there to share it with him. Nothing. In the end of his life was not as pleasant. It wasn't because he was a failure in business. It wasn't because he lost his fortune, you know, or some tragedy happened. it was because he hadn't built an actual life around his goal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In, I don't want to be that person, you know.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think anyone wants to be that person.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it just gets to be, too much. But anyway, this ended up to be quite the interesting chapter for me.
Very much so.
Yep. Yeah. And I did have one more slide that I forgot for the very end, which, unless you have a lot more that you want to discuss, I'll leave that up to
Not that
you.
I can think of.
You're my favorite, like, two or three answer co-host. Like, yeah. Um, but anyway, so the one part that uh oops, wrong one. There we go. Was the reversal. You know how at the end of every chapter, like, he gives us like when the law shouldn't be used. But he actually comes out and says there is no reversal here. Its application is universal to all parts of our life. There is nothing to be gained by associating with those who infect you with their misery. There is only power and good fortune to be obtained by associating with the fortunate. So ignore this law at your peril. How ominous of him! Like, really? Like, seriously? How dare
It
you, Mr.
is
Green?
like
I
okay,
mean,
so
it's
I
like,
guess I guess a good reversal would be if you are at I don't know, if you wanted to be a little bit of a sociopath and like learn about people that have that sort of like that kind of perpetual tragedy type personality.
yep.
I don't know where that would be helpful and why that would be helpful. I would never want to do that.
Mm. No, I get it. No, totally. Uh, so,
Maybe if
like,
you're a psychologist. Yep, there we go. And if you're doing a study on those kinds of people, there we go. That's probably one of the only situations where that would be applicable.
if you're a psychologist, yeah.
Yep. And you were trying to
Well,
understand a Lola.
mm, yeah, like a therapist. Because I don't even think a psychologist would have time for Lola's bullshit, to tell you the truth. A talk therapist, you know how therapy, like a regular therapist who's not a psychotherapist instead of a psychologist. A psychologist is
Mm.
very medical minded, like they're the ones that do the medications and diagnosis and stuff like that. And yes, they'll talk to you, but they're not really into the talk therapy without results. And I'm wondering how much talk you would get involved with Lola before you realize that there's like she not there's no help there. Like, there's no accountability. Like, no, no. I think if a psychiatrist, you know what I think, if a psychiatrist was trying to treat Lola, he would end up like transferring her to somebody else and end up marrying her.
Yeah, I could see that.
you know, she's such. I mean, she's such a man eater. Like, really, seriously. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she'd need a woman therapist to just sit and talk. But I don't think it would be productive with her because she doesn't. She just is in the habit of letting everybody take care of her problems and not taking accountability or even accepting that she should try to solve them herself. Her way of solving them herself is finding someone to do it for her. That's what she believes she's doing to survive and solve her problem. It's a dangerous mindset, but that's what she's doing. Like, because look how fast she goes from one to the other.
Yeah, she really did just like goodbye.
Yeah, she's like proactively always looking for somebody to take care of everything, to take care of her, and to take care of everything. Like, yeah, so she does feel like she's being proactive in a way, you know, in addressing her
Mm.
problems. when it's not the root of the problem. The root of the problem is you're destroying every person's life around you, like woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, yeah, it's yeah, unnecessarily too. Yeah. Well, that was that last part. Well, yeah. Interesting chapter. What do we got for next week? Do you know? Yeah.
The next chapter is. This one's going to be another fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. Which
Well,
kind of sounds like it flies completely in the face of chapter 10.
doesn't it? Yes. It's like we just had this whole thing about like deciding, and oh my gosh, and now it's like make them want you, make them need you, make them not be able to live without you. What was that whole big thing about toxic helping? Like what?
Mm,
Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. Wrestle ourselves around that one. That sounds like a challenge. Uh,
exactly.
I do hope you'll all join us late next week for more of the same. And
Fingers crossed.
yeah, and don't forget to do all of the YouTube kind of things. Don't forget to like and share, and please give us your comments on whether you like it, whether you don't, whether you have something to say about what Mr. Green has to say, or what we have to say about what Mr. Green has to say. Like, because we appreciate it, and it's in all honesty, it's why we're out here, to hear what you have to say about it too. Yep. It was nice to have you even come by for a little bit, Mrs. C. Don't worry about it. And thank you, Shield and Mippet, and those in the live chat. Those of you watching uh, during the live, maybe not commenting, but also those of you that are going to see this later. Don't be afraid to hit us up. To myself or
Yes.
Rekkr, like, we
Mm-hmm.
both want the comments. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the phone was ringing because that was the governor again telling us how he is declaring a state of emergency for where I live based on a storm that's coming for tonight at about 10 o'clock. So I am feeling grateful that I got both my streams in today, like um on that end. So we'll have to see. And why I'm getting notices that I'm just going live now, I don't understand.
Those are
Like
always the best notifications.
I'm getting
3 hours
them.
later, oh, by the way, you got a message. What?
What? Yeah, I'm getting live. Like it happened in the last live that people didn't think I was live on YouTube. Like, but yeah. And I'm just getting like kick notifications and YouTube notifications that I'm live, like right now. And I'm like, no, I'm about to hit the button, people. Like you're a little late. You're a little late.
Mm,
And you know what's the sad part is, Rekkr?
what?
I can't take control of the situation. I can't fire them. I can't fire YouTube or Kick for not doing their job. It's really depressing.
No, that's the
I have to
unfortunate
work on
thing.
it. Yeah, I have to work on it. Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
hmm.
I don't know. All right. On that, any last words, Justin? Record?
um, if you find a Lola, kick her to the curb. Or him.
Is that your
Save
version of
yourself the trouble.
is that your version of she's just not worth it? You're gonna be that friend? She's not worth it, buddy.
Yep.
She's not
Yep.
worth it. Like
Yep.
you're selling your soul to the devil.
Yep.
You'll be sorry later. Mark my words. And then you'd be the friend that they don't talk to while they're together. And then he's got to come to you 10 years later when his life is in shambles and say, I should have listened to you.
And then I'll be like, yes, you
Yeah.
should have.
Yes, you should have. Yeah. But yeah, we all have those friends, don't we? But yeah.
Mm,
Hey, the heart wants what the heart wants.
exactly.
You could still date a Lola. You just need to set some boundaries. Yeah.
Very good boundaries.
Right. Well, you have to recognize Lola for the Lola, you know,
Mm-hmm.
make a conscious choice. Don't be a victim. Yeah. That's the best part. Make the conscious choice. Don't be a victim. That'll help
Yes.
you out. Yeah, that'll help you out here. All right. Now I'm pushing the button.
See ya.
Good night, everybody.